Hi there again. This time we're going to be looking again at the All Island Strategic Rail Review. Um, Last time we started with uh, the executive summary. It ended up taking a lot longer than I expected. So um, last time I said I would do the executive summary and chapter one. This time I'm just going to do chapter one. We'll see how that goes. Head down to this lovely chap bringing his bike on the train, fold up bike. Maybe he's putting it in the luggage storage, who knows? So, introduction. In April 2021, the Minister for Transport for the Irish Government and the Minister for Infrastructure for the Northern Ireland Executive announced an All Island Strategic Rail Review, also referred to as just the review. This report presents the final findings and recommendations from this review. It aims to inform policy and future strategy for the railways in both jurisdictions on the island of Ireland. It represents a significant moment in the history of the island's railways, as it is the first time both jurisdictions have worked together to deliver a strategic rail study of this nature. Yeah, I'm not aware of any other ones, to be honest, but I also haven't looked into it a huge amount. Scope of this review. So the review has examined how the island's railways are currently used, what role rail could play in the future, and how the island's rail network could evolve to better serve the people of both jurisdictions. It has considered a wide range of opportunities for improving the railways, from reopening railways in rural areas to examining the feasibility of developing higher speed, 200 kilometers an hour, and new high speed, 300 kilometers an hour or higher railways. Um, yeah, I think I've seen this used other places as well, higher speed to refer to 200 kilometers an hour rail. It is fast, but it's not high speed. Hence the higher speed. It's a little bit misleading, but if you're paying attention to that subtle difference, you'll spot it. But I think 200 kilometers an hour would kind of be plenty for the most part. I mean, like, obviously faster is better, but it's such a small island. There's not that far you can really go in any direction. It is considered both passenger and freight opportunities across the island of Ireland. The review is focused on how the rail network across the island could contribute to the decarbonisation of the island's transport systems, promote sustainable connectivity into and between major cities, enhance regional accessibility, and support balanced regional development and population growth. Yeah, obviously the decarbonisation is really important for reaching climate targets and reducing emissions. Sustainable connectivity plays into that as well. If people have to commute for work, it's better if they commute via train or even bus if that's what's available to them, rather than driving everywhere. Because if you're just driving to work and driving home, it's better to have like 200 people on a train than to have 200 cars on the road, or maybe less if a few people carpooling. But a lot of people tend to drive in a car by themselves. Regional accessibility, that is of course important. You want to include as many people as you can. Within reason, of course. You can't have like a train going to the doorstep of Mary in fucking Ackle Island, It's just not, that doesn't quite make sense. Mary can take the bus to the mainland and find a train station in like a larger town there. Regional development and population growth. Yeah. This is part of. I mean, population is growing, of course. I think it's projected to be like what 8 million in a couple of years. In the Republic, I don't know about the North. At the moment, I think together it's almost 7 million, or maybe it is. It's getting up there anyway. Um, but you don't want to focus all your population growth in just Dublin or just Dublin Belfast. You want to spread it out a bit, and part of that is giving people transport options and also developing those regional cities and towns so that they become attractive to live in and to work in and to start businesses in and to conduct business in and decentralize the whole economy, really, you know. So while the scope was not focused on commuter rail services in major cities or other types of public transport, the review has carefully considered the interactions between proposed improvements and existing or planned commuter rail services. So that would refer to, I would assume, Dart Plus and Metrolink, because they are separate plans, but obviously, they're all rail related, especially Dart Plus because it's going to be on the main rails. The time horizon for this review covers the period from today, 2050, or today to 2050. And today, as I'm reading this, is the 14th of December. I published the last part on the 13th, but I read it on the 12th. To align with both jurisdictions' stated goals of achieving net zero carbon emissions by this date. Yeah. Delivering this review. So the review was guided by a steering group formed of representatives and stakeholders from the Irish government and the Northern Ireland Executive Departments, the rail operators in both jurisdictions, Iarnród Éireann and TransLink, Ireland's National Transport Authority, the NTA, and the Commission for Railway Regulation. I assume that's in the north. The work was also supported by technical experts from the European Investment Bank, JASPERS, who assisted the Department of Transport in scoping, oversight, and preparation of the review. The technical content of the review has been delivered by Arup. I think they're a consultancy firm. The review greatly benefited from evidence provided by stakeholders and the wider public through a public consultation held from November 2021 to January 2022, and then it took them a while to put everything together into this. A summary of the review, or a summary of the approach used to deliver this review is provided in the appendix. We'll be looking at that in a different video. So the composition of this report. So this report explores the case for investing in the island's railways and highlights the role the railways could play in delivering a balanced and sustainable economy and society. In Chapter 2, this report presents the railway as it is today and describes the wider context of the railway's development in Ireland. Chapter 3, the report outlines the key challenges and opportunities the railway faces and sets out its vision, goals, and objectives for this review. Chapter 4, the report presents a range of recommendations that this review considers are best placed to deliver the goals and objectives presented in Chapter 3. Gotta remember, this isn't set in stone. This is just recommendations to the governments of both jurisdictions, as they say. Now, hopefully they will follow these recommendations in the coming years, but it's yet to be seen. The benefits and the costs of this recommendations outlined in Chapter 4 are summarised in Chapter 5, and a plausible route for delivering the recommendations is provided in Chapter 6. This report has been endorsed by political representatives from both jurisdictions and seeks to inform policy and strategy for the future development of the railways in the coming decades for the island. It aims to present an overview of the evidence seen by this review and describe what appear to be the most promising opportunities and interventions for rail on the island of Ireland. These opportunities respond to the goals and objectives of the review, which are based on an extensive evidence base, which was further informed by the public consultation. And then a little disclaimer here. Ultimately, it will be for the Irish Government and the Northern Ireland Executive to consider which of the recommendations described in this report should be taken forward for further development. Each of the recommendations described in this report will be subject to separate appraisal and decision in line with applicable governance processes in each jurisdiction. And that's the end of chapter 1. A lot shorter than the executive summary. It's concise. It's actually just one page, no images, which is a little disappointing, but sure luck. There's a nice bit of scenery here. It's a TransLink train there. So yeah, as you can see, it's a pretty comprehensive review. I think I don't know if I would call it ambitious, but I think it's well considered. This disclaimer, I want to emphasize that it is, at the moment, just recommendations, because it's easy to get carried away and think, oh, they're going to do this and that and whatever, and it's going to be great. It would be great, but they're balancing other projects as well, and it's hard to predict what will happen in the future. It'll probably be a recession at some point. There's one every couple of years at this point, I'm excited to see what will come of this. Not just like plans, but actual results. I don't really see the high speed 300 kilometers an hour or higher. Maybe plans will be made for that, but I don't really see it being developed. Maybe, if anywhere, on the route from Dublin to Belfast, but I don't really see it being. I don't really. Yeah, I don't think that would happen anywhere else, any other route. There's just not. There's not the distance and there's not the traffic for it. And Belfast being the second largest city in the whole island, it would make sense to do from Dublin to Belfast, and it's not even that long of a route anyway. It's like what, 2.5 hours, something like that, maybe 3. It's been a while since I took that train. Yeah, I think this is a fairly concise chapter, as I said. But we'll take it one chapter at a time. So next time we'll have a look at chapter 2, the railway as it is today. We'll have a look at the it's like a commuter service. I don't know where this is though. Little look at chapter 2. This is a nice little map. We'll have a look at this first, actually. This is the railway as it is today. So you can see, yeah, you can see Dublin here. Green there is the Dart line, so from Greystone to Malahide and Howth. A little bit of track around Dublin. Let's see. Yeah, that's Kerry Airport. Yeah, so they want to build a line basically all across here. That would really make a significant difference to the people living in this area, because it's not like this is completely empty. Donegal is a little bit more empty, but between Portadown and Derry is a decent number of people living there. Yeah. Alright, I think yeah, we'll leave it here for now. Next chapter will be chapter 2. We'll go into that. Thanks for watching.